ladies and gentlepons, I participated in my first ever FIDE rated tournament this weekend at the Lethbridge Open in Lethbridge, Alberta. And I was not expecting much other than to at least win one game in the tournament, knowing that there were some strong players. But in this round one, I'm going to show you my first ever game, FIDE rated game. Let's get into it, and let me show you and break down what I had done. So in the tournament, I had prepared for openings such as the Vienna and the Caro and the Sicilian. Sorry, had to find my words there. And I was hoping to at least win one game, hopefully, and take, a good chance of getting a good first time rating. So I hear that you do have to play at least a minimum of 30 games to get an official FIDE rating, but this was to get my foot into the door and somewhere and see how I can improve and do better and learn from my mistakes. This tournament was full of that. So here we go. Let's get started. I had the white pieces and my opponent had the black pieces. My opponent was rated 1695 FIDE. His national rating is 1500, but I will go by also my national rating. I've played in one tournament, so this national rating is provisional. So I am not 1183. I am 1800 rapid on chess.com. So if we were to convert that into national or FIDE, I should be around 1600. Let's get into the first game. I play e4, hoping to maybe play a Vienna if he plays e5. That would be my dream. I had been doing a lot of Vienna prep, but my opponent plays c5, and I'm glad that I was learning against how to play the Sicilian, because I really didn't know what to do against it. But I had a backup plan, and I was going to play the Grand Prix attack. This is probably my favorite opening against the Sicilian, and if they try and do any dragon variations, I could go for a lethal attack. My opponent plays a6. I play a4 to prevent any expansion on the queen side, and we continue to develop our moves. I bring bishop out to c4. He plays queen to c7. I solidify my structure in castle. This is even on both sides. He goes bishop to e7. I slide my queen over, which is the best move, and he jumps his knight in. According to the computer, the best move is queen to f2, which at first I didn't understand, but I just took the knight and went back, and now I'm threatening this pawn. But then my opponent made the first mistake. He played bishop to d7 and forgot about the pawn, and I capitalized on it. I was very happy with this. I said, there's no way he just hung a pawn for free. And then he wanted to trade the center. So takes, and I go back. And I'm winning still. I guess it doesn't like knight to f3. It likes a more aggressive approach playing knight to f5, which I wasn't fully sure because I didn't like takes. But I guess the computer likes me taking with the rook instead of the pawn, because if I take with the pawn, this pawn is now isolated, and he can just strike with e4. And this is not very good for me. This kind of loses my advantage. But I play back. He plays bishop to c6, and then I play queen to g3, attacking his weak g7 pawn, and he castles. Now this is winning, because in this position I can play knight h6 or bishop h6 and threaten checkmate. But of course, he defends. But this is a bad move, because in this position, this is a free pawn. But you have to either take with either the queen or the knight, and the best move is to take with the knight. There are some nasty things, because if you try and put more pressure, you can sacrifice the bishop. No, sorry, sacrifice the rook. You can't take, and if you go here, then it's just mate in one. And so even bishop to d6 there is a knight sacrifice. Not just a knight sacrifice, a queen sacrifice as well. You take this queen for free, but guess what? I got discoveries. And if you go back, I can take your rook for free, and it's game over. And after all the dust is settled, you can do a whole bunch of exchanges and be up 2 pawns. But I didn't find that, and instead I played knight to g5. And I thought, oh my word, he's going to be in trouble. If he takes, then I have knight to e6, and I just win your queen. That was my idea. And also, if you go, let's say king here, then I could still take your queen. It'd actually be a triple fork, in a way, other than a discovery. But I played this, and I just realized that he could just take with his bishop. So takes, and then I took with my queen and made a fatal mistake. Because now this is losing. Because black has the most disgusting and savage but subtle move, king to h8. And you just straight up win my bishop back. And I completely forgot. But thankfully, he didn't play that. And he played bishop takes in order for me to take back his bishop and be up a pawn, or get his pawn back. But I denied that. I played queen back, and he brought his bishop back to g6. I was expecting bishop back to g6 to, cover this pin and take back my bishop. But I brought back my bishop. He plays king to h8, and then I strike with b4. This is pretty much even. I had to figure out how to continue. He played a knight jumps. It's the same idea. If I take, he takes, and this is winning for black. And I didn't like that. I hated that. So I instead still took the knight because I thought it was fine. I was regaining a pawn. And then he got greedy and took a pawn. And in this position, I thought I was winning because I had bishop to c5, a full skewer. But the computer just laughs at me for the skewer and says that black is winning. Because I have 1, 2, and 3 isolated pawns, and even if we exchange pieces, black is just positionally better. And yeah, this was crazy. But he took, and yeah, now this is fine. He has 2 passed pawns, but I also have 2 center pawns. Even though they are isolated, they can still do some damage. I play here, attacking the rook, but he moves his rook out of the way. I play e5, which is the best move, and we start to shuffle pieces. I brought my queen back, now making a really nice structure here, bringing my rook into the game, bringing my rooks up, and then he plays bishop here, and then I had a really nice move. Queen to a7, attacking this pawn and this pawn, and I was in great shape. He had to play a4, but he didn't, so I take his pawn back. He brings his rook over. I go here, and now this is just winning for white. Check, and then rook here. This was my only winning chance before suddenly I made a mistake that cost me the game. Pawn to h4. And I completely forgot that the rook was on the other side of the board. And this is what I call for tunnel vision, because I wanted to go h4, h5, blow up the structure, and press in for my attack. Yeah, that was bad. I should have played h3, which was my other idea, and I'd still be winning. But that was the fatal mistake. And he took, and I never recovered from that because I started to lose my position. And I was down bad. Not just on a positional level, but I was starting to lose my composure. I played the best move to bring the rook back, and I regained a pawn, but he's better. I had to sacrifice my rook, and he's better. He has 3 pawns that are all together to my 1, 2, and 3 isolated pawns. And I started to lose my composure. I lost another pawn. I put a pawn forward even though he didn't take. I wanted him to, take with the queen so that I can go for check here and mate. That was the idea of c5, but he just continued to strike at my defenses. He gave a couple of checks, and he lost position, or lost the advantage, because there is queen c3 taking over these important squares for black. But I just fell and just could not recover. I played this back, trying to, maybe find some sort of activity on this diagonal, but that was just a bad move. And I lose my final pass pawn, and I had no opportunity. He found a check, and I just lost complete composure. He checks, and I resigned in this position after 70 moves. This game went on for 3.5 hours. It was painful. We were down to 15 to 20 minutes, both on our clocks. This was a very, very tight, but very disappointing game from my part. I had a really early lead in development in the opening, and I took him out of the opening and was crushing. But just a simple mistake, a calculation mistake, and I was too scared. I thought that this was a great move, but I was too scared because I realized my queen was going to be pinned, and if I had moved the knight anywhere, he would have just, I thought of him kicking me out, possibly, maybe him going here. Like I said, this I thought was terrible for me, because then I'd have to play this, and which loses the advantage. But I completely forgot about the knight sacrifice and just completely doing some damage. But the more you learn, these tournaments are hard, these players are good, and even though I came out of the opening strong and was doing well, even though I didn't find this tactical approach, I would still say this first round was a good learning experience, because I just needed to find tactical imbalances in the position and try and go for the attack. That's the entire idea of the Grand Prix. I was just too scared, and being scared costed me the game. But it was a good learning experience, because round one offered a whole level of how to get aggressive and how to play positional and how to balance the two, because I learned that chess is a hard game, but if you want to win games, sometimes you have to risk it all. And this was the learning experience from round one. I wasn't expecting to win the first game, or any of my games really, but even though I take the round one loss, I was heading into round two playing a 1300. But that will be in the next video, so stay tuned. Hope you guys enjoyed this first round analysis, and we'll catch you in the next one.